So what happens is everybody is going to stand in this game, but just wait a second. Everybody's going to stand in this game. And if you think the answer is A, you flap your fans or you wave your hand, right? Now, you're not allowed to just do nothing. There is nobody allowed to do just nothing. You've got to do something. If you think the answer is B, you've got to clap your hands. So if you think it's A, you wave your hand. If you think it's B, you clap your hands. If I see anybody, no. See, I sound like a teacher again. Nope, I'm not even going to say it. Okay, this is going to be a very friendly game. No, you've already started. How's that happening? Yes, what do you want? Last human being standing. Okay, go over to your chair. These are my granddaughters. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to ask you a question. Everybody stand now. Everybody stand. Sorry about that. Everybody stand. It's called last person standing. You guys can just eat. Yeah. You guys can just eat. Okay. Remember, if you're getting A as an answer or you're giving A as an answer, you've got to wave at me. If you're choosing B as the answer, you've got to clap. But you've got to do something. Okay, here we go. How did David and Kirsten meet? Answer A, at church. Answer B, through a mutual friend. Okay. Everybody that waved at me can sit down, of which there is almost none. All right, here we go. I'm going to make this one harder. How did David propose? A. How did David propose? A. He wrote a song for Kirsten and sang it amongst the stunning backdrop of Shakespeare Park. B. He spread a trail of rose petals leading to a beautiful gazebo and got down on one knee. The answer was A. Thank you for that. We need harder questions, David. Okay, they get harder. Here's the next one. What event involved David dressing up in orange tights? A, his role as an orange Oompa Loompa in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. B, his proposal to Kirsten. Those who clapped must sit down. David is an Oompa Loompa. Next one. What color are David and Kirsten's eyes? A is blue, B is green. You guys should have closed your eyes for a second. Okay, if you clapped, you must sit down because their eyes are blue. What is going on with this game? Okay, here we go. Do you know what Kirsten does for work? A, social worker. B, freelance composer and music teacher. Okay, those that waved at me must sit down, of which there are none. Where was Kirsten's latest composition or commission titled The Heavens Declare the Glory of God performed? A, Auckland Town Hall. B, Star Dome Observatory. Right. That does it.
They post everything on Facebook.
I know, exactly. That's the problem. What's more likely to rile up David? A, being late for an event. We know that's not going to happen. B, messing with his spreadsheets. Okay. Okay, those that clapped, you are correct. Awesome. Great response over there. Where did David grow up? A, Scotland, B, England. A, Scotland, B, England. Those that waved are correct. Those that waved are correct. He's Scotch. He's Scotch, I tell ya.
He was 3 years in England.
What?
3 years in England, the rest of the time in Scotland.
He's Scottish, but he's masquerading as an Englishman. Okay. Here we go. You guys are still standing. This is terrible. What country? Aha, here's a hard one. Here we go. What country did Kirsten and her family, that's me, travel to when she was 9 years old? A, Wales, B, the USA. Right, I'm resigning. The clappers were correct. I know, I can tell that. And we're getting to the point where I'm going to get desperate. Okay, how many children are in Kirsten's immediate family? Oh, I already told the answer to this. A is 6 and B is 5. How many children are in Kirsten's immediate family? A is 6, B is 5. Waivers are correct. Oh, that would have been a good one if I hadn't told you guys. What is the strangest animal Kirsten has milked? A donkey, B, a buffalo. How did you get that right? No, they're not buffaloes in America, are there? Yeah, where the buffalo roam. Okay. But actually, the buffalo was in France. Those who clapped got it correct. Yes, it was Little House on the Prairie. What beach did David get baptized on? Eastern Beach, A, Eastern Beach, B, Bucklands Beach. Ha 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 ha, we got you now. Those who clapped must sit down. That was a good one. Okay, in her 20s, Kirsten had a dream about waiting for the right man. What was the setting? A jeweler's workshop, B, a Texan barbecue. You should have made it a bit harder. Okay, if you waved, you got it right. Okay. What martial art is David a black belt in? A, karate, B, taekwondo. Taekwondo. Those who clapped are correct. What was David's nickname when he was a baby? A, Muppet. B, Spike. Those who clapped are correct. Everybody else sit down. Boy, I'm getting hot up here. I'm going to have to take my jacket off in a second. That's not funny. Okay. Next one. Oh, we're down to the last 4 or 5. What did David tell his mum he wanted to... this is good. He wanted to be, when he grew up, he wanted to be what? At about age 5, A, Thomas the Tank Engine, B, a parrot. Those who are waving, sit down. I won. I won. Thank you. Woo. Okay, bonus points. Here we go. Last 4 questions. Are you still standing? Right, here we go. Here we go. Hang on. Alina, let's see. Right, here we go. Everybody else can answer as well from your seating position. Who is David's favorite composer? A. Nabuo Uamatau. B. Kirsten. You are incorrect. It's the unpronounceable one. Next. Did you get that right? No. No cheating. Even nepotism can only take you so far. Okay, here we go. Next one. What is Kirsten's favorite food? A. Passion fruit ice cream. B. Whatever David is eating. Those who are clapping are incorrect. Alina's still going. Okay. We're down to one last question. Here we go. Where did Kirsten get filled with the Holy Spirit? Oh. A home group in Kansas City, Missouri. B, a worship event in Swansea, Wales. The answer is A. You are kidding me. Yay! You won. It's yours. Excellent. Speeches right now? Okay. Well, I'm just going to give a very short speech. But I just also want to really... Yeah, that's later. I'll give some extra thank yous from my point of view. Okay, the first thing I want to thank is all the bridesmaids for being so early. They are my daughters, so I get the permission to thank them for that. Next, I would like to thank just everybody that helped set up this place. You can look and see how amazing it was, but also the venue today where the wedding was. So it's been, I think, the most hectic wedding. We've had 2 other weddings just in the last 18 months, but I think this was the most hectic wedding. And this was the wedding that ran the latest. I'm not going to cast aspersions at anybody. But seriously, it was really beautiful to see David and Kirsten develop their relationship. What happened was this. One day Kirsten just came to us and said, "I'm going on a blind date." We said, "What? She never goes on blind dates." So she said, "Yeah, I think it was Bianca who knew David and knew Kirsten and said, 'Hey, you guys should..." I don't know Bianca very well, but that's amazing. So rang them both up and said, "Hey, you guys should get together. Why don't you, arrange a date and go on a date?" And Kirsten said yes. David obviously was originating it, so away they went. And this was only about 3 weeks before we were to leave the country. So it was like, who is this David guy? Luckily, we had a bunch of family events, so David was coming along to the family events, like engagement parties for others and early Christmases and stuff like that we were having. And so we got to know David, and we thought, hey, this is a pretty decent young guy. And he came to me just before I left, I think maybe 1 or 2 days before we were flying out. And he came to me and said, I would like to have permission to court your daughter. And I was instantly transported back to the 1800s. And I thought, this is a scene out of Pride and Prejudice. No, it was good. I liked it. And I said, listen, pal, I've got a shotgun. You haven't got a chance. No, I didn't say that. I said, sure, because he seemed like a decent guy. And, you can just tell. Sometimes you can just tell. And we'd been praying for Kirsten and just praying just generally that because our other daughters were already married and Kirsten had focused on her music for so long. She went over, she got a master's in London, and, she'd been through some hard times. And so we were praying for Kirsten that she'd meet the right person, because no point getting married to the wrong person. So we wanted a godly young man that was, like full of honor and just a great person. And so I kind of, just in meeting David for those first few weeks, I was saying to Jackie, I think this guy is really genuine guy. And we flew off overseas, and I gave David my blessing straight out of Pride and Prejudice. I said, do you have a yellow carriage or something? We only let guys with yellow carriages. And so he proceeded to take Kirsten out. And we were overseas in Malaysia and Uganda and South Africa, which was a blessing. And those guys were getting to know each other. And they were saying, we want to set a date. And we said, okay, wow. Can we set it for like next January, because maybe we can get back in the country by then? And yep. So it all happened in quite a whirlwind. It was like a 1-year deal. Wham, bam. And, of course, not as fast as Mr. Darcy. Well, maybe. No, that was pretty slow, wasn't it? Yes, that was slow. Okay. So I'm going to end my talk soon. It's well worked out. I worked this out very thoroughly. I'm sure you can tell that. I just want to finish by just saying, I think the most important thing about getting married is finding the right person, and the most important thing about that person is, do they love God or not? Because we're in a world that is just so lacking in commitment, morals, ethics, and just honestly, the ability to go the distance, We have lost the world that our parents lived in. We've lost the world that our grandparents lived in. And the world out there is just like shark-infested waters for young people. And it's a disaster. It's an absolute catastrophe. And the Western world is sinking because of that one thing. I believe the Western world is sinking because of that. Because we have created a disaster for our young people. And that goes back to the 1960s. That's when that revolution happened. So very, very hard to grow up this way now. So, commitment is hard to come by, and honorable people are hard to come by, and godly people are hard to come by. And so when we see that, we want to bless it, because it's becoming rare, sadly, So we bless David and Kirsten. We believe that they're those lovely kind of people. And we pray for a great future for them both. And David, welcome to the family. And Kirsten, congratulations. And that's the end of my talk.
We're launching straight into my one. Oh. Well, I kind of wish I had gone first now, because he's stolen all my lines. But anyway, we'll forge ahead, and so here we go. But actually, I really wanted to start by adding Andrew's thanks to my thanks, because we've had so much help for this, and we couldn't have put this event together without everybody's help here. And so I'm particularly grateful for, for all of the family and friends that rallied around together to make this happen. But I especially want to take this time to thank my family because as we prepared for this wedding, it's been a whirlwind, and I've appreciated every gift of time and resources and talents, lending of lanterns and easels over there, and organising kitchen tea afternoons, girls, collecting and arranging flowers, collecting, and let me tell you, when I say collecting, I'm talking about 300 hydrangea heads harvested off the side of the road. So that was by no mean feat, these guys. Yeah, of course, the makeup and the hair. I mean, a lot of that fell on Jasmine, didn't it, really? But she came up trumps. It did a champion job. Yeah. And Hope too. Yeah, and Hope. So setting up of venues, of course, it's stringing of lights. Will, thank you so much. I'm really glad you persevered. I know you were keen to go home like 4 hours earlier, but you hung in there, and I'm really grateful that you did. And, of course, helping to clean our house sit. We've been house sitting since we've come back. So, in the middle of preparing cakes and every other thing, we had to move ourselves from one house sit to another house sit, which really was quite stressful. But we did it, and with the help of our girls, we got the place organised and ready for for the next leg. So anyway, the list goes on. But my family have offered all of this and more to realise this dream, and we literally couldn't have done it without you guys. So really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah. And also, hugely grateful for all of the friends that stepped in and prepared food platters and of various kinds. And what else did we have going on here? All sorts of things. Ceremony and reception set up, and particularly Jackie, thank you so much, Jackie Dunning, wherever you are, for helping us with those flowers. Yeah, she helped with all of these hydrangea runners that we've got on the table. And car chauffeuring, Paul Dunningham next to her there. Woohoo! That was great, yeah. I don't know if you guys got to see the car. It's an incredible car, by the way. If you get a chance to, it's really an amazing car. And anyway, as they say, teamwork really does make the dream work. So thank you all, you guys, from the bottom of my heart. Moving on here, so Kirsten. What a happy and long-awaited day that you've found such a caring and generous soul in David. Proverbs 13:12 says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life." And I see that longing fulfilled in David. I love hearing him make you laugh again. And just the other day I did hear that. It's a certain kind of a laugh that I haven't heard for a long time. And so it's really... I don't know why I'm crying about that, but I'm really, really grateful for that. Yeah, especially because of all the difficult times that you've been through, and you've endured so much. In the last 4 years, and it's just wonderful to see you regain your joie de vivre, as they say in French, and long may that continue. So you've given me many reasons to be proud of you over the years. I don't know if I'm going to get through this. It's ridiculous. Yep. So both academic and, of course, I remember Andrew's mum will remember this because Kirsten went to Flanshaw Road School. Every year, it would come to the end of the year and they'd be like, who's going to get the academic award for this year for school? Oh, it's Kirsten Strom again, every year. So, and she's just kind of continued that trend. And, of course, musical achievements as well. And but I'm especially grateful, and if I could read my words, I'd be better. I couldn't be more proud of you for your tenacity and your determination to hold fast and to be strong in recent years. I love how you've clung to your faith in God through it all. Many would have crumbled under less. In all of this, you've been an inspiration, and I couldn't be more proud of who you've become as you've been tempered by the fiery trials. So, David, I might come around this side. Hello. So it was like you materialized out of thin air just over a year ago. And Kirsten surprised us so much, as you heard. Like one day she came running into the lounge and declared that she was going on a blind date. And you could have knocked us over with a feather. We're like, what? That's just the most unexpected, thing to hear her come out and say. It was funny to hear that you, David, had been hoping when you were on the way to meet her, that she might be a little bit musical, and you were wondering if she could sing in harmony. Well, this is the girl who was singing before she could even talk in her little car seat, and and was singing in harmony as a child. So there we go. It was handy for us that we had so many events, as Andrew mentioned, that we invited you to before we left the country. Now, the most unusual of this, of course, was Hope's Unitech dance production. I don't know if anyone has ever been to a contemporary dance production before, but this was weird. And honestly, what was interesting about it was that he just kind of took it in his stride. So your mettle was tested with that one, but you were not put off at the prospect of being connected to such a family as ours. So since then, we've grown to know you from afar while we were overseas. You made it a point to stay in touch, which we really appreciated. And we began to learn that you had a range of shared interests, especially your strong faith in God, your love of music, and that you had a kind, caring, and generous nature. And being the famed white boy was also a plus in Benjamin's books, wasn't it, Ben? So I think you have to be kind of in the know to know what that's all about. But in fact, I don't even know if I can explain it. But if you want to know, you can ask David or Ben about that one. Yeah. Anyway, all of this finally culminated in a call one day where you gave, and let me tell you, he had a very prepared PowerPoint presentation, and it was entitled something like 10 Reasons for Marrying Kirsten. And so he went through them list by list, and then he ended up with 4 extra bonus reasons at the end of it all. So 10 were obviously not enough. But anyway, as we were in Uganda at the time, it was an interesting juxtaposition because we had a Ugandan friend at the time who was in negotiations with his bride-to-be's family. Although it was not a PowerPoint presentation involved with that, it was cows. Like, how many cows are we negotiating to pay the bride's family? And also a number of goats, apparently for the aunties. So goats for the aunties and a number of cows for the family. Apparently it's between 10 and 20, and I think the average is around about 12 cows. So there we go. Anyway, in due course, yeah, the proposal occurred. Yeah, that's right, we would. I've often said if I had a big enough front lawn, I wouldn't mind having a Dexter cow. They're really little cows. They're like kind of like sort of small as calves, aren't they? They're really cute. But anyway, that's a bit of a divergence from what we're going on about here. But keep that in mind, David. Yeah. Patience, kindness, perseverance, as opposed to arrogance, rudeness, or keeping a record of wrongs. That's just to name a few points that are in there. So remember, marriage is both giving 100% to it, and if you both earnestly follow 1 Corinthians 13 in the Spirit of Christ and with integrity, I believe that your marriage will bear fruit. In this life, it's a blessing to have someone with whom you can bear one another's burdens. Life's loads can be lightened as you work together as a team and walk together united with common goals and dreams for the future. So look after one another. Cherish each other as you are each other's person to share in life's triumphs and trials. Protect your relationship and prioritize and keep it strong, as this is the most important union, save for that one with God himself. It's also the most impactful, so do your best to invite harmony and peace into your world together. As Jesus said, love one another as I have loved you. So I've given this blessing before, but I'd like to finish with this blessing from Numbers 6, 24 to 26. And it says, the Lord bless you and keep you, and the Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. God bless you both.
the next person. We do have another speech. I think I'll just spring it on somebody. Somebody who doesn't even know they're going to speak right now is about to get up. Oh no, I won't do that. Don't worry about it. Who is it? Jasmine. Okay. Lucky they chose me as the MC, isn't it? Because I really know what's going on. Here you go, Jasmine. This is our daughter, Jasmine. She's our eldest daughter.
I love that this microphone says preacher. Dearly beloved. Okay. Our family has always been close and often best friends in all the ways that matter. There for each other, for Kirsten, star-like highs and darkest lows. Kirsten was my closest friend growing up in life, music, art, and fun. When you started dating and I put my arm around Kirsten's shoulder, there was suddenly an arm already there. There was suddenly also, when I leaned in to kiss her cheek, other lips were on the other side, which was really awkward. Suddenly Kirsten had someone filling her world with love and happiness. As a sister, you often wonder who will suit your quirky sister, so smart, so old soul yet carefree. When she met you and your love story began, the puzzle made sense. All your quirkiness and genius fit together so well. There was a time when Kirsten had a friend who wrote to her, encouraging her or telling her that she should stop pursuing study because she'd never find a husband who would like someone that was so smart. Which I thought was really sad. Anyway, here we are today. I can safely say that you suit each other in niche intellectual knowledge, in quirkiness and playfulness, in lovey-doveyness, in passions and interests. Dad's still laughing about that one. That was kind of the Amish side of our life that Dad introduced us to. And anyway. As you go forward into your new life as one, keep an arm around each other's shoulders through the ups and downs. Keep a kiss on each other's cheek. Keep an interest in each other's passions, cheering one another on proudly. Keep adventuring and finding joy in all of life's big moments and small.
Did you want to do the cake cutting now? Oh, you want to go straight into the second lot of speeches? He's on the first lot of speeches. Hi, you're up. This is David's dad. I'll let him introduce himself.
Thank you. This is only page one. Do I have time to go home? So the sun's still up. Hi, and obviously welcome to everybody, and probably going to repeat some of this stuff here, but I've been asked to keep it short, so here goes. First of all, I'd like to thank you for all attending today and making David and Kirsten's day extremely special. It's really much appreciated, obviously, for all the help as well, and your company and all the hard work that has gone into this wedding. It's really appreciated. May I also say how glorious you both look, you know? And along with the bridesmaids, of course, the best man and the grooms, and of course, obviously, all you lovely people. Without you here, this would not be a wedding. As I was thinking about this speech today, I was reminded of the infamous speech of Captain James Tiberius Kirk, who, when on his maiden voyage, said these amazing words: "Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations." And you know, marriage is much like this. You will go places you've never been before. You will meet and come across experiences and situations that you have never encountered. There will be times when you think there's an alien in the room. But don't worry, David, it's just a woman. You may need, on occasions, the universal translator to be able to understand her. But don't fret too much, David, because Scotty is always at hand to beam you up. Marriage is very much like an exploration of each other, your needs, your passions, your strengths, weaknesses, and the world that is before you. In closing, and just a few words from 7 of 11, who said that, "David, you are about to be assimilated. Resistance is futile." In closing, it's to boldly go into marriage with each other at your sides and God as your guide. May He bless you both as you embark on this adventure. Please charge your glasses, and please raise your glasses. To David and Kirsten, may God bless you.
Okay, it's time for me to talk about this incredible cake over here. I did my best to ask my wife to make it smaller. I said to her, it's looking a bit like either the Tower of Babel or the Eiffel Tower. But it is beautiful. I'm sure it's the biggest one she's ever made. Is it working? Yes. Wow. I think I better go back to teaching. We are going to have best man speeches now. We're going to have like a best man relay speech of some kind. I will hand it over to George to tell us what's going on.
Thank you. Hi everyone. Hey, everyone. My name is George, and now I have known David for 17 years, actually a little bit more than 17 years. And I was really hoping to tell you guys about a lot of the fun adventures that we've been on over that time. But, unfortunately, David has kind of intercepted my speech. And he made some redactions, some alterations. So all I'm kind of left with is one bit right here. David White is a sweet and well-behaved young man. Sorry guys, I can't lie to you. I've got all the stories up here. David, your plan has been foiled. I'm going to tell it all from my memory, and my memory does not fail. So, given that this is David and Kirsten's wedding, I'm sure many of you are probably wondering how on earth David met me. Well, the answer is actually quite simple. He hired me. Not to be his friend, but to work for him. He was a manager at Dick Smith Electronics, and I was a nerdy high school kid who wanted some money. So I guess you kind of did hire a friend. And yeah, so that's kind of where me and him became friends. One evening, David offered to give me a ride home from work. And what I saw on that night both terrified and impressed me. Even to this day, I am still... So David was driving and simultaneously adjusting his new car stereo, texting someone, and playing with his brand new green laser pointer, all while driving 15 kilometers per hour down Botany Road, all at the same time. So, Kirsten, the main point of me telling you this is never let David get out of housework by saying he can't multitask. He definitely can. But guys, let me tell you about this green laser because it was honestly incredible. Okay, you push the button on this thing and it shoots up like a lightsaber. Okay, you shoot it, put it at the sky, it's like the bat signal. Only instead of Batman, you get David. Yeah, so like I said, we worked together at Dick Smith, and I really remember this. One day in December, so peak retail season, we're all in the store busy setting up, and David arrived to work a little bit late, but he had a little bit of a new accessory on this day. He came through the door with an eye patch, completely unrelated to the green laser. Had nothing to do with it at all. Funnily enough, a few days later, David is serving a customer, right? This guy wanted to buy a cell phone. And our cell phone display was right by the front door. Great idea. Always a good idea. And right as David takes this phone out of the box to show to this customer, the guy rips it out of his hands, bolts out of the store. And you on the security camera, you could actually see David standing there for a bit, going like, what on earth happened? Did this guy just move this way? Where is he? Where did he go? You could not see him. But then David chases after this guy. He starts running out the store for 2 kilometers. He's running after this guy, chasing him through the mall, up the street. He ended up at some church somewhere, kept going. Talk about going the extra mile. What? He did not get the phone. He ended up not even getting. Yeah. The guy was really bad. And to be honest, if you saw a pirate chasing you, wouldn't you go a little bit faster? Okay, where are we up to? Let me see if I can read through all this stuff. Was there anything else that I wanted to talk about? I've got to read through all the redactions. Okay, folks, Okay, folks, I'm going to bring it in for a bit of a landing here, and that pun is very much intended. Because I'm going to tell you about the first time that David told me about Kirsten. So you've heard the story from a couple of different perspectives. I think this one is going to be quite an interesting one. Now, I had been visiting family overseas, and honestly, I had the return flight from hell. I'm talking like a 15-hour layover, delayed flights, the worst thing, the cucumber water in the business class lounge was cold instead of mildly chilled. There was canceled flights. It was terrible. So I'm thinking, and David kindly offered to come pick me up from the airport. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is great. I'm going to get it. I'm going to just be able to rant to my good friend about this horrible journey and then hit the bed, just go knocked out. But as soon as I get in the car, David had other plans. I barely sat down and he started recounting his latest date. And I say latest because David had been on a few. In fact, there was one infamous weekend where he went on 5 dates. Just think about that, folks. 2 days, 5 dates. Okay, I'm lucky if I get off the couch 4 times in a weekend. I'm sitting in his car, jet-lagged, only 60% sure I'm not still on the plane. And David is recounting his date step by step. Okay, the beautiful dress she wore, how her eyes absolutely captivated him, how he thought he'd completely ruined his chances because Kirsten didn't talk much. And I know what you're all thinking. Someone not getting a word in around David, unheard of. It's never happened. And Kirsten, just to be clear, he was talking about you. And honestly, he has not stopped since. Like, guys, seriously, we'll be at a boys' night barbecue at my house, okay? And I'll be wanting to serve David the most perfectly grilled steak. And he'll come up to me with his plate and he'll go, you know what's great about Kirsten? She loves food. How lucky. How did I get this lucky? David, you have come a very long way from eye patches and green lasers. Kirsten, you've honestly brought out the best in him, and you guys make a fantastic team. And now I'm going to hand over to Mr. David Armstrong.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David Armstrong, and I'm one of David White's best men and a good friend of his for several years now. Firstly, I'd just like to acknowledge and thank everyone for joining us here to celebrate the marriage of David and Kirsten. I'd also like to take a moment to appreciate Kirsten and her bridesmaids. Don't they all look lovely? Kirsten, it's not hard to see why David is head over heels for you. I'd also just like to extend my gratitude to the rest of the Strong family just for welcoming David into your lives with such warmth. So David and I met at 2020, quite a low point in our lives. What? It actually wasn't related to COVID. We both had some personal things going on. Thanks for derailing that. That's okay. But yeah, we had a lot of respective things going on in our lives, and I believe that meeting was truly God orchestrated. We didn't necessarily counsel each other or even talk much about our personal situations, but we provided companionship for each other, like just playing obscure video games together, going on random errands, and talking about our faith as well. I think this is both something we really need at the time. It was also just really inspiring to see how David held on to his faith at that point, and he continued to press on to God. This has been so encouraging to see his growth over the years, and I know you've really inspired my own faith, so I just want to call that out. So over time, our friendship moved more away from talking about video games and random obscure topics as such, more onto the not at all complex topic of women and Christian dating. We'd often spend large chunks of evenings where we'd be just filling in each other about recent dates, trying to stop each other from relentless overthinking, and trying to also just help each other through prayer and scripture. It was also quite amusing over the years to hear all about David White's famous, or rather infamous, Chelsea Sugar Factory cafe dates. So yeah, a few of you know about those. And also, as George alluded to, there was often quite a few. I think there's even a certain waiter who would often compliment you with, fine choice, sir, every time you went in. I think they're actually struggling for business at the moment. Struggling to make a profit now that they've lost half their business. But in all seriousness, though, I don't want those of you who don't know David White well to think he was or is some sort of player. It was just a genuine, guy looking for a real God-fearing, genuine wife. And Kirsten, I genuinely believe he has found that in you. Everything he was looking for that whole time, he's found it. So I'm just so happy for you both. And I also entrust that you'll always have emergency bananas on hand for David. That you'll also prevent him from ever sprinting up Pigeon Mountain again. For those of you who don't know that story, so one time it was a ripper East Auckland sunset, and David thought it'd be a great idea to, in a last-minute attempt to catch the sunset, to sprint right up Pigeon Mountain. And a seemingly decent idea, sure. But he'd done it basically had nothing to eat that day. And so he sprints up, takes the pictures. He took some good pictures, but next minute passed out, hit the ground hard. yeah, I was just sitting at home that day, and then I get a video call out the blue and see a semi-bloodied face. Went to join him and took him to A&E. He was all right. He was all fine in the end. But Kirsten, I just entrust that you'll prevent him from ever doing that again. I also entrust that you always have lactose pills on hand, spare lactose pills, for our sake, but mostly your sake. I won't share any of those lactose-inspired stories. But yeah, look, honestly, I'm just so happy for you both, especially David, just after seeing just your progress throughout the years, just seeing how you grew as a person, grew spiritually, and just following your dating journey as well, all the ups and downs. But yeah, I think you finally met that one person, and I'm just so happy for you both. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, David.
And I'll just pass back to George for a bonus.
So, song. No. That comes later. So this is a speech from a good friend of myself and David's, Ian Sutton. So just for a moment, imagine that I am a tall British man by the name of Ian Sutton. Set you up later. So I think maybe Dave can give some more context, but it begins, to Rodney, Dave. It's a nickname. I struggle with words at times, and this is certainly one of them. Looking back on all the time I've known you, longer than almost anyone I know, I remember the following key memories that are all characteristically Dave. On our first encounter, you awkwardly explained to me exactly how I should do the job I'd been doing successfully for the last 3 months. Awkwardly socializing after work, explaining to people in detail the inner workings of the Symbian operating system on the Nokia N95 phone. To this day, I don't think they knew what an N95 is or really cared. Awkwardly talking to girls in a passionate way about Nintendo, unsuccessfully. You'll see a theme here in the nicest possible way, and with the deepest respect. You're a bit awkward, Dave. Which brings me to my point. When you and Kirsten came over for dinner, we quickly noticed something. You both seemed to just flow. Less of the awkward Dave came through, and more of the best bits of Dave. She really does bring out the best in you. Rona and I wish you the very best of weddings and a joyous marriage. We can only apologize for not being there on your special day. Cool.
Thank you. And now we have the bride's speech. I will go and get it. Over to you, darling.
Oh my goodness. There are so many people here. Okay. When Bianca first messaged me about meeting David, I was caught by surprise. I was not looking for a guy, and I was quite resigned to being a contented old maid at the age of 29, especially by Jane Austen's standards, where they were considered past it at 27. While I was preparing for the date, I was nervous and excited. I remember being with Martin, Grandma, and Granddad as we walked through Lynn Mall. We walked past a beautiful dress on a mannequin, and I said, "Look, isn't it so beautiful? Maybe I could wear that to my date. What if he's the one?" Martin said, "You're trying on that dress." I felt like a princess when I put it on, and Martin, Grandma, and Granddad bought it for me as an early Christmas present. Jasmine came over on the day to do my hair, and my mum drove me to the mall where I would meet David at the Red Sea Cafe. After a kerfuffle where he ended up at its old location, here he came, looking cool in his aviator shades, easygoing and a natural talker. It was unexpected how attracted I was to him on the first date. It's amazing how many little things God answered in giving me David, little heart's desires I never knew I had. After the big things, like being filled with the Holy Spirit and being baptized, I found out he was a worship musician. Swoon. He loved classical music, which is crazy for me because I'm a classical composer, and it's like such a rare thing. He worked for a company housing the homeless, was in musicals growing up, and spoke a little bit of French. Oui, oui, monsieur, tu m'as fait tourner la tête. On our second date, he bought me lilies without knowing they were my favorite flower. He loved God and wanted to start a home group with his future wife. As well as all this, he was the kindest, sweetest, most affectionate man and absolutely melted my heart. I love you, David. Before I got my restricted, even afterwards, truth be told, he would drive a whole hour to see me, take me on a date, and drop me home like a gentleman. We spent hours together each time and quickly became very close. Some of my most cherished times together were times in prayer, worshipping God, and reading the whole book of Isaiah. David was very intentional from the start, and I knew he was serious about our relationship heading towards marriage. What moved me the most deeply was his compassion. He is there for me in the hardest times, accepting and loving me unconditionally, cheering me up and giving me the best hugs. God truly gave me the best blessing I could have hoped for when he gave me David. I want to thank God right now for this blessing. Father, thank you so much for this exciting day we've waited so long for and all our family and friends gathered here. Please bless everyone here. May you bless us in our marriage and draw us closer to you as you draw us nearer to each other. Thank you for your Son and his sacrifice for us on the cross that draws us near to you. Thank you that we can call you our friend. We love you so much. In Jesus' name, amen. David, my honey, I am so thrilled to be your Mrs. White at last. And I can't wait for the exciting future ahead. I love you.
Thanks, darling. You're amazing. Okay, it's that time. It's for the groom's speech. Could the groom come forward? Oh, yeah. All right, so this isn't actually my speech. This is my speech. First of all, thank you, David. That was amazing. And George, like your speeches, I loved it. Did not know what you guys were going to write at all. And you've been solid, best men, best blokes. I'm so grateful for you guys. And also, Kirsten, your dress, I keep looking at it. You keep sparkling, and you know I like shiny things. So you are so bedazzled. And she keeps mentioning her shoes, which are hidden. So I am so honored to have so many of my friends and family here today in a place that is very special to me. So I've been coming to this church since 2007 and spent many ups and downs here. Some of the most significant times of my life involved this building and the people in it. One of whom has passed away, and the man who baptized me. I don't know if he's still here. No. He's one of the oldies and he's gone to bed. But he's the one who married us, and I love that man. Those of you who know me know that I've been hoping and praying and waiting for a good wife for many years now, healing, learning, and growing along the way. A big part of that journey has been my amazing friends, the All-Stars, who are all on this table here. I love each and every one of you. You are my brothers and sisters, so thank you for being in my life. Totally love you guys. You've made Kirsten feel so welcome, which means the world to both of us. And it says here again, I particularly want to mention my best man, David, who's been an amazing friend to me the last few years and has such a positive effect on me spiritually, praying together, sharpening each other as iron sharpens iron, believing in me, and always pointing me towards God when times were hard. We've had many a late-night deep chat about the woman in our lives. It's always the woman. It's always the woman. I am seeing the fruit of all this in my life, especially last year, and today is the culmination of all of that. Praise God. By the way, ladies, no, David is not single. He has a very lovely lady, somewhere over here. Hi, Nikki. But he does have a really efficient tumble dryer, so just ask him about that if you want. George, however, is available. Just putting it out there. So, I know you've all heard this, but this is now my perspective about our first date. So, all right, I'm going to try and go fast for time. So, it's a sort of East meets West East story. So, one day in 2023, I was having a bit of a rant to my friend Bianca, who was over there, about the general state of Christian dating. And out of the blue, she mentioned, "Oh, I know a girl." A couple of messages later, and Kirsten had agreed to a date, which Bianca said made her feel the Holy Spirit all over her for some reason. Maybe a sign. All I had to go on at that stage was a name, a vague description of "she's innocent and holy, one of those pure girls," and a single photograph. I thought, okay, well, she's gorgeous and amazing and probably way out of my league, but also exactly what I'm looking for, so I'm up for the challenge. Meanwhile, the only photos Kirsten had to go on were the ones where I was dressed up as a cowboy and in a kilt. So, which Kirsten showed to her mom, and that sent her down a research rabbit hole for anyone who knows Jackie, trying to look at my tartan in the picture and identify which Scottish clan I belonged to, which ultimately was fruitless because it was just a cheap $2 shop kilt. So if anything, I'm clan sweatshop. But I do applaud the effort, and if it wasn't for Jackie's industriousness, this wedding would look very different. And I just want to point out the mother of the bride has done so much in the planning from the beginning, from another country. I just want to give a big clap, Jackie. I really appreciate you. I'm really glad, so glad to be joining such a wonderful family, and I love you guys, my in-laws, and I'm proud to be your new son-in-law, you guys, Andrew and Jackie, so thank you. Just a couple of days before the first date, I actually saw two doves in a tree fly down right beside me and then walk side by side like a couple, doing like the pigeon walk, like this, you know. And I thought, could this be another sign? On the way to the date, I was really hoping Kirsten at least appreciated one of my biggest passions, which is music. Little did I know. For those of you who don't, Kirsten holds a bachelor's degree in music and a master's in classical composition from the London Royal Academy of Music with distinction. You've got to remember the with distinction part. So needless to say, I was incredibly impressed and couldn't quite take in just how musically talented she was. My first impressions when I saw her were just, wow. There was this lovely angel standing before me in the hustle and bustle of a Westie shopping center with all the weird sights and smells and sounds. She really stood out. Like the Princess of Henderson or something. This is a good thing. If there is such a thing as love at first sight, then this has to be it. It really caught me off guard. What preceded then was a grilling session full of loaded questions from both sides, interspersed with long bouts of silence, intensely staring into each other's eyes, which we still do quite often. It's kind of awkward at first, not knowing what to say, but I got lost in those big, beautiful blue eyes. To anyone else, it might be kind of weird, but it melts my heart and it makes me feel like a giddy, smitten teenager. So I'd say Kirsten succeeded in our first date because even I, this obviously confident, suave, smooth guy, got nervous and I felt like an awkward teenager, a very happy, awkward teenager. Says do a Batman voice there. It became evident later on that I was her first date with anyone ever. And she got that dress and hair all done especially for it, which made that so meaningful and special. Also a lot of pressure because after all that I was thinking, David, do not mess this up. I told myself in the car mirror after that first date, I stared at myself, pointed, and said, David, if you don't marry her, then I will. So I guess one of us was right. So, Kirsten, I'm honored to be your first date, first kiss, first boyfriend, and first and hopefully only husband. I hope I am your last everything too. We're only halfway done. Now, here's some interesting quirks that I've learned about Kirsten. I should call you Kirsten or something. First, I want to say that Kirsten can be extremely thorough. She always reads the terms and conditions and the privacy policy in full before agreeing to anything, which has led to many delays in the past when we had to be somewhere. I admire your perseverance, I guess. So, Kirsten, before I read out the rest of my speech, please check your email for the 72-page terms and conditions document you need to sign before I say anything. I'll wait. Okay, maybe not. There are no terms and conditions because my love for you is unconditional. But we need a drummer there. So, one more, on with more interesting things about Kirsten. On one date on a beach, Kirsten was holding onto my arm, and then I started feeling something shivering like a spider or something, but it was actually her hands creeping up my sleeve. And that's when you said, "Ooh, you're so strong." Now, just for the record, no one has ever said that to me before. No one. So that's when I learned that Kirsten really knows how to make a guy feel good about himself. One day, sitting in Kirsten's room, she realized she needed to cut her toenails. Yeah, I'm telling this story. So I started looking around diligently for some nail scissors, maybe give her a hand or something. Before I barely turned my head away to find something, I looked back, and there she was, hacking away with a pair of these chunky kitchen scissors like no tomorrow. I was slightly horrified, but that's when I learned Kirsten is both fearless and resourceful. One day after a particularly cheesy meal, I remember sitting on the toilet and texting her that I'd be in a while. Without even prompting, she texted through a prayer for me while on the toilet, saying, "Lord, bless his digestive system." And it actually worked. That's when I knew how caring you are to every single need and that you're in God's favor. One thing I noticed in the many times I made the long pilgrimage to Kirsten's grandma's house in the Waitakere Ranges is that when I'd head home, I'd leave her driveway and look at my rearview mirror and see that she's still waiting and watching and waving until the last bit of my car has left her sight. That showed me how sweet she is, and I knew she didn't want us to be apart. Some may say Kirsten is imperfect, but I think she's perfect, perfectly imperfect, and that's perfect. I didn't expect anyone to understand that. Needless to say, it was easy to fall in love with Kirsten, and there's a point very early on when I realized I did not want to do life without this person. So I wasted no time in proposing, though it was not as fast as Andrew made it out to be. It was like 6 months. Okay, just saying. And then, so I proposed, and then her response to my "will you marry me" was yes, 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 and then immediately after she said, "wait, I'm not ready, I'm not wearing the right clothes or done my hair." That was the last thing on my mind. Absolutely. Going back to our first date, immediately after it, we somehow found ourselves looking for a pomegranate. I don't know why. We never found it. We searched all over Henderson, Waitakere, Westfield, could not find a pomegranate. But maybe you really did find it, Kirsten. Maybe your pommy was right under your nose the whole time. Now I'm entering the soppy stuff section, as if that wasn't already soppy. I'm so glad to be marrying someone who's not only a great friend to me, but someone whom I love dearly. You are my dream girl, darling. You still give me butterflies. You understand me. You are so patient and full of grace and generosity. You're a great hugger. You love music and far surpass me in it. You appreciate all I do in ways that are so endearing, and above all, you value God and marriage as I do. Some may mistake your straightforward, unashamed faith and innocent outlook on life as inexperience or even naivete, but it's precisely one of the many reasons why I love you. You are a breath of fresh air and an absolute joy and delight to be around, and you somehow bring out my inner child as well as make me a better man. You are a real light in this world and the most beautiful person I've ever met, inside and out. You're my dream girl. Your gracious and sweet femininity brings out the best of my masculinity, and I'm so happy you appreciate the gentleman in me and all of my often cheesy romantic gestures. In the famous words of Rick Astley, I will never give you up, never let you down, never run around and desert you. You have made me a happy man, Kirsten, and I have so much to be grateful for. In our marriage, I want to bring you the same joy you've so lovingly shown me every day. Proverbs 12:4 says, "A wife of noble character is her husband's crown." You certainly make me feel as rich as a king. I love you and am proud to be called your mister. Can everyone please charge their glasses now and prepare for a toast to the bride and the amazing new family I'm going to be part of. To Kirsten. Thank you, honey. Thanks, everyone. We're now going to perform a little song for you guys. Thank you.
It's our wedding today. I'm excited to say how the time has flown so far. As we keep drawing near, it gets harder to bear all the times we're far away. Let's grow up together, honey, as these months turn into years. Let's grow up together, honey. May the Lord keep drawing us near. Many years did I wait till I first saw your face. Now the time has flown so fast. At the light of daybreak do I long for your face. You're so tender with your hugs. Let's grow up together, honey, as these months turn into years. Let's grow up together, honey. May the Lord keep drawing us near. When the times get tough, I'll be your hug. When we're waiting until dawn, in the dark of night, God is your light, and He's rooting for us both. Let's grow up together, honey, as these months turn into years. Let's grow up together, honey. May the Lord keep drawing us near. La 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 la
Thank you, darling. By the way, a little factoid, that song was written a very long time ago.
No, don't.
It was originally
No, that's
1 month after we met. And it was originally the first line, "It's our 1 month today, I'm excited to say." So we just changed the lyrics to, "It's our wedding today." That just shows how lovely and sweet Kirsten is and how sure you were. So moving on to the next thing, we just have a few quick acknowledgements to make. Oh, yep. So we've got competition winners. So has anyone actually finished the I Spy game, the photo I Spy, ticked off every single thing? Or at least most of them? Bianca did. Okay, well, has anyone else got close to ticking off the whole list? Well, if you have almost all of them, that's probably good enough for us. Okay. Well, you win the prize, Shay. Come forward and get the prize. And I see a couple of fans here. I don't know whose they are. If you've got a really nice fan, I mean, Kirsten and I are actually going to, if you all hold them up, we'll judge your fans harshly. Shay, there you go. Thank you, Shay. Well done. Oh my gosh, we didn't actually expect such amazing designs, guys. What? Okay, that's really elegant, Jen's one is. That's beautiful. Okay, well, it's really your choice, honey. What?
This looks amazing.
Jesus loves you. That's what on earth? These are way too good, guys. What the heck? Well, Kirsten, over to you. What do you want?
I think it's Paul's 1959 Ford.
You reckon that one? All right. I don't know where Paul is, but great. Do you want to take the prize? Thank you, Jackie. Another one? Oh, a gift. Yeah. Yeah, I have to say, like, they're all honestly amazing, guys. Prizes aside, it's not about the prize, but that's awesome. Hope you had fun doing it. All right, so just quickly run down some things. So I've thanked Jackie. Jackie and Andrew, obviously, massive part of planning this wedding, so thank you so much. Especially that, well, the cake's gone now. Where'd the cake go, guys? She also bought this dress as well, so that was an incredible present. Thank you, Andrew, for emceeing today. That's really, really great of you. We were kind of strapped for that, so we're like, who's going to do it? And you stepped forward, so thank you very much for that. Thank you to my parents and both of our families for supporting us and making this day possible. Thank you to your grandparents who aren't here now, but they've put up with me in their house for the best part of a year. Very old-fashioned house, very strict rules. Bedroom door must be open at all times. How did I survive that? I don't know. But we did somehow. Thank you to Jasmine and Shay, who got that prize earlier, for dressing up Kirsten, and thank you to God himself for making you so beautiful, naturally as well as unnaturally. I don't know how that's you describe jewelry, but anyway. I would like to acknowledge Pastors Steve and Dawn, who aren't here. They're on holiday, but they are the senior pastors of this church, and they let us use this venue for free, basically. So that's amazing of them. There is a church service here tomorrow morning, so it's going to be an insane job cleaning up. So thank you so much to everyone who's going to be involved with that. I would help, but I'll be busy after the wedding. So, yeah. Thank you again to the All-Stars, this table right here, for being such amazing people, but also being part of helping out today. Especially, like, we borrowed things from the Jeffreys here. Chelsea, who's done the music, did an amazing job singing. You have a beautiful voice. Cassandra, who did so much of the setup and the grazing table there. And just all you guys who have been involved at some point, including David and George right here as well. And thank you, Kirsten, for having a vision of exactly what she wanted for this wedding and being graceful enough to change her mind when I had a better idea. Kirsten will now do the rest of the acknowledgements.
Thank you so much to Matt and Sarah for their beautiful photography at Anchor and Grace Photography. Thank you to Southern Spit Roast for the amazing dinner. And Andrew Kennedy at the back there doing an amazing job on AV. Thank you so much. Woo! Thank you so much to the Simmons family as well for lending your kitchen supplies. It helps so much and really added to the wedding. Thank you to Cherie, Fiona and Cassandra for hospitality and setup. Paul Dunningham for his amazing wedding car. And Jackie Dunningham for helping do all the flowers. That was such a beautiful help yesterday. Thank you so much for that, Jackie. And thank you to all of you for coming and celebrating with us, especially if you did anything behind the scenes to help. Tyler, the groomsmen, we really appreciate you. Do you want to say the last one, honey?
Yeah. Just thank God as well for the great weather, beautiful wedding, answering our prayers and blessing us with each other and all of you. And I also kind of wanted to add to my speech that God has answered so many little prayers for me as well, like ones I didn't even know I had in ways it's really hard to explain. And you're the answer to all that. So praise God. And now it's time for the first dance, immediately followed by a dance party. So I think Matt needs to just set up the camera, but we'll do that very shortly. So stick around for that, guys. Thank you.